As the Ujjayi breath has come for several breath cycles, you could ask again, from where are you listening? And from where would you be speaking if you were to speak? I mean, about the climate situation. When you're asking those questions, from where would you be listening? From where would you be speaking? I'm recommending that you don't judge the response and that you just come to it with a full sense of personal honesty. So you know something about yourself and you get to tend to that in yourself. And you can release the Ujjayi breath and please raise your hands to your heart. We'll come to Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu. Let's begin. Om Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Savidyam Karavali, Tejasvinavadhitamastu, Ma Vivesha Vali. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Savidyam Karavali, Tejasvinavadhitamastu, Ma Vivesha Vali. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Savidyam Karavali, Tejasvinavadhitamastu, Ma Vivesha Vali. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. With your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands and open your. So in looking at this climate circumstance or any other major dilemma in your life, circumstance is a very mild word, the climate crisis. In looking at it and asking, from where are we listening? If the experience we have of the chakra system is relatively balanced, how we're able to listen, like even at the first chakra, we have the koshas, the annamayakosha, the pranamayakosha, manomayakosha, vijnanamakakosha, anandamayakosha. So if I'm listening from this base chakra, at the level of the physical body, if my basic needs are being met, then the annamayakosha can be kind of calmed down. It's sort of stabilized. Right? But let's imagine that our needs don't feel like they've been getting met, and we're up at the third chakra, where we experience this sort of greed and compulsivity and fire. We're going to get our needs met. It's a distortion, of course, of the best of our species, because we're meant to go from a collaboration mindset, not a competition or such a self-centered mindset. But let's say that we're here at the third chakra. And the annamayakosha is reflecting the unmet needs and the unaddressed fears at the first chakra. So we're up here trying to consume things that are going to make us feel better, more stabilized, more deserving, more worthwhile, for example. It's very hard to listen to others from that place. We are distracted by what we call the hungry ghosts. This being at the stomach, the third chakra and the stomach having a relationship. We're distracted by the hungry ghosts, which are called the hungry ghosts because they never get satiated. They're always sort of milling about there. So at each layer of the chakras are these koshas. And not only the ones that we know of, annamaya, pranamaya, manomaya, vijnanamaya, anandamaya, but as I said yesterday, the larger concentric circles like society, which includes economy and education and injustice in the society, the other species, the myriad species on the planet, the ecology, consciousness, right? So all of this rippling out. From where are we listening today? And if we were to speak, from where would we speak? If I speak from my unmet needs, rather than from a place of like chaperoning my senses to really feel and steward the possibilities, if I'm speaking from the unmet needs, how I'm going to come across will be different. And God willing, I'm speaking to people who are listening from their experience of the chakras in balance. So they hear me speaking and they feel this kind of desire to be of support or service, rather than I'm speaking from my unmet needs and it's distressing to you because of your unmet needs and now we're having an argument or a conflict. So this is a full system experience. And it does help to balance the annamayakosha at every level. Because I'm asking you about listening and speaking, I will be focusing at the fifth chakra gradually more and more. So to get us moving from here, I'm going to ask you to stay in your comfortable seat. Of course, adjust it if you need to. You can shake the legs out. We're going to do a little pranayama set here. Let me tie my hair back. Sometimes it keeps you warm. Those of you who have longer hair know tying it up is refreshing, but can make you feel chilly. Okay, so we're going to be moving towards box breathing like this. To help us have the capacity for that, let's get some of the yayas worked out. So rest your hands in your lap, lengthen up through the crown of your skull, and bring your attention down to the third and the second chakra, down in this lower region here. We're going to do Bhastrika. Strong exhale out through the mouth. About 30 exhales. Let's begin. Exhale. Inhale through the nose, up to suspension. Exhale smoothly and completely in your own timing. Deeply relax. We're going to repeat that process. But when you feel you've come to some equilibrium, then you can begin again. Exhale. Inhale to suspension. Exhale slowly and completely. And deeply relax. And now breath of fire through both nostrils. Exhale. Inhale to suspension. When you're ready to, please exhale thoughtfully, smoothly, completely. We're going to repeat that. Please begin when you're ready. Exhale completely. Inhale up to suspension. In your own timing, exhale slowly and completely. Really deeply relax the abdomen and the inner belly. Now we're going to do a little bit of an unusual breath. Some of you have done this with me recently. We're going to inhale through the left nostril. We'll just hold briefly. We're going to exhale out through a tiny straw-like shape with the lips. That's going to make the exhale longer, 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 longer. Don't make yourself breathless, but then you'll inhale through the right nostril, You'll hold momentarily and then again exhale like a tiny straw through the lips. So bring your right hand up, please, like so. Resting your thumb and your ring finger in the position where you're ready. Let's inhale through both nostrils. We're not using ujjayi breathing. And exhale through both nostrils. At the end of the exhale, close your right nostril. Inhale, left side only. And you're holding temporarily, just a brief hold, and then exhale out through a teeny tiny straw in the lips. When you finish your exhale, close the left nostril. Inhale, right side only. Continue at your own pace with the straw exhale. Please do one more inhale, right nostril, when that next comes in your cycle. And that'll be one more straw exhale as well. At the end of that practice, I'd like you to deeply relax, simply noticing now from where would you be listening or from where would you be speaking. We'll practice just one more breathing technique this morning. It's called box breathing. So you'll inhale, you'll suspend equal to the inhale, exhale equal, and then exhale suspension is also equal. That could be 4, 4, 4, 4 for you might be 8, 8, 8, 8, or 10. Do what is consistently possible for you without feeling breathless, please. This will be the last round. When you complete the last exhale suspension in box breathing, then again sit quietly. And reflect back on how you were able to chaperone your own experience there. How present was your orchestra conductor? Thank you for that practice time. Let's continue now. We're going to come over to quadruped position. I will recommend that you have a blanket for your knees. Shake out your legs as needed. Also, let's do this since we're going to use the blanket in a number of ways. Let's set it up so that it's already a blanket that's wider than the length of your mat. Something like this. I made it extra wide to demonstrate. It's also not extra thick because you are going to be doing some balancing with this. So wide padding, not super thick padding. You'll see where we're going here. Let's put the blocks at the front of the mat so they'll be there when we need them. Great, and come over to your knees on your blanket. Place your hands not on the blocks for now, just in table pose. And let's lift the sitting bones and glide your spine into cow pose. And just check and see right now, when you come into this position, what is the flexibility that you feel in the neck and the throat? Okay, and then exhale and go into cat pose and ask, well, how much limberness or suppleness do you have in the lower back where the sacrum meets the lumbar spine? And then shift once more to cow pose. And once more into your cat pose, really checking in terms of the suppleness of the lower back, how much support do you have from the deep inner belly? Do it again. So we're gonna come into cow pose. And now keeping your cow pose, step your left hand forward of your right hand, lower your right elbow to the floor. Relax the weight of your head. If you can keep your balance, now step the right toes back like you're doing plank pose. So there is a balance pose already here. It's your left shin and your right forearm. As you next inhale, can you press down and return to table pose? And then come into cow pose. Step your right hand well forward. This is sometimes called puppy dog pose or half puppy dog pose because only one arm is forward. Relax the weight of your head, please, and breathe smoothly into your body. If you can keep your balance, step the left leg back like you're doing plank pose. So one of the things that we would benefit from at the first chakra is this increased sense of stability, but not rigidity. Stability, but not tension. Stability and suppleness put together. If you can inhale, press into your left hand and float your right hand and left knee to table pose. Okay, tuck your toes under. Let's raise up, please, into downward facing dog pose. And in your downward dog pose, if it's the first dog pose of the morning, give yourself a little bit of time here to move about, maybe bend one knee and then the other knee and let your body wake up. Not my first downward dog pose of the morning, but it might be yours. And so as you're listening in and feeling into your body, see what's really present there for you. And now please inhale and roll forward to plank pose. Exhale, touch your knees down lightly, but keep the table pose firm. Inhale, left arm and right leg. And exhale, table pose. Inhale, right arm, left leg, bird dog pose. Exhale, table pose. Notice if you're arriving in a bumpy manner. Inhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, plank. This time, inhale to table, touch your knees down. Exhale, bird dog, left arm, right leg. Inhale to table. Exhale, switch sides. Inhale to table. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Keep your left leg grounded. Inhale, raise your right leg high. Exhale, come forward and place your right shin on the blanket. Inhale, raise your right arm forward, left leg back. And exhale, plank pose. Inhale, downward facing dog pose. Exhale, stabilize from your hips down through your heels and keep your right leg especially grounded. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, come forward, place your left shin on the blanket. Inhale, reach your left arm forward, right leg back. Exhale, plank pose. Inhale, downward facing dog. Exhale while you're here. Make the left leg stable. Inhale, raise your right leg high. Now exhale, bring your right shin forward again. And this time, pivot your left heel to the floor and sweep your left arm past your left ear. Make it a deliberate side bend from your left heel to your left fingers. Keep the right butt forward so you're not leaning your right hip backwards. Now let's see if you can balance. Raise your left arm and your left leg. Your right outer butt and your right inner thigh, the pelvic floor, the belly, those are all a part of your balance. Return to your C shape. Lower your left hand down. Resist turning the rest of the body here. So you're going to lower your left hand down, feel across the upper back, the back of the heart, and then plank pose. Okay, inhale, downward facing dog pose. Stabilize your right leg as you exhale. And with the inhale, raise your left leg high. You exhale, come forward, place your left shin on the blanket. Pivot your right heel. Line your right heel up with your left foot. And then open to a C shape. And in that C-shaped process, root down from your right outer hip to your right heel. Reach into your right fingertips, but check and see that the left butt and the left inner thigh are stabilizing you. And then reach long through your right arm, raise your right leg. And keeping your balance here with the left outer hip, left inner thigh, pelvic floor, low belly, left arm. Return to the C-shaped position. And keeping your left arm stable, lower your right hand down, but don't turn the rest of the body just yet. You have to pick up some of this mobility here from the back of the heart, mid back, lower back, and then plank pose. Inhale, downward facing dog pose. Raise up high on the toes, turn the heels and toes in towards the center, bend your knees and come down to a wide-kneed child's pose. Place your forearms on the floor. Lift your head and look forward. You can put the palms together like you're praying. So in this wide-kneed child's pose, this is the beginning of what we might call tadpole pose, and then it becomes frog pose. So slide the knees apart and bring your hips forward to be lined up with your knees, not forward of your knees, please. Lift the low belly in towards your sacrum. You can explore the difference for you between having the knees wide with the big toes touching and the knees wide with the big toes and the inner heels touching. And some of you will find that your heels cannot reach each other, and some of you will find that they can. Keep the lower belly lifted in, please, towards your sacrum. Notice what happens in the effort to glide the heels towards each other, and what happens when you slide the heels apart, even if your heels don't touch when you make the effort to glide them to the center. Now, keeping the back waist again broad, let's roll the hips back towards the heels, please. Come towards child's pose. This kind of tadpole child's pose combination. Then place your hands and straighten the arms, press into both hands so your hips are maybe more easily touching your heels, but you may also feel the inner thighs. Okay, take a deep breath in, please. Press into both palms. Exhale. And then inhale and come forward. Open the heart like cow pose. And exhale, press back like cat pose. Inhale, come forward. I know you're moving through the inner thighs there, and there might be a lot of sensation. Exhale, reach back like cat pose. One more time, inhale, reach forward. And then exhale, come into table pose spine. So you've got the knees wide, but find your table pose spine. Then press into your hands, pick up the knees and bring them into table pose. Curl your toes under, raise yourself back up, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Okay, inhale, raise your right leg high. This time, stack your hips over your left thigh. Follow your exhale breath to come forward. Place your right shin down, pivot, open to your left. Come into your balance pose. Lower the left foot back down. Make the C shape, C shape, C shape. Bring your left hand down as if you're going to hold onto your right wrist. Notice the upper back, mid back, lower back. You pivot your left heel up and step to plank pose. And then inhale, raise high to downward facing dog pose. Now let's make the right leg stable on the exhale. Inhale, raise your left leg and stack over your right. And then exhale and come forward. Place your left shin on the blanket. Pivot your right heel. Inhale, open to your C pose. Come into your balance pose, please. Notice the left outer butt, the left hip joint. You're stabilizing right from there. Lower your right foot down and really slowly glide your right hand down. You're going to reach for your left wrist if you can hold it. Keep the left butt strong so your hip is not shifting backwards. Take the right hand to the floor, plank pose, and downward facing dog pose. Let's touch the knees down to the blanket, please, and come to Vajrasana. Sometimes it'll feel like you've shaken a snow globe and the snow particles are settling. Just listen inside and see what's settling, and then from where would you be able to listen or to speak? I'd like you to place your blocks for your hands to use when they're in front of you. And let's give a little test drive so you can sense where you want to be. If you're going to have your knees on the blankets and the shins lifted like this, like a seal pose, but you also want to be able to come back and have your hands on the mat like that. Just check and see where you need to be in your, how you want to set it up. Okay. Here we go. You ready? Let's put the hands behind. So your fingers are going to point towards your toes or just slightly out. Roll the shoulders back, raise up through your chest and your heart. And if it's comfortable, open your throat, raise your chin up. And then inhale, bring your torso up, and exhale, reach forward to the two blocks. You inhale to cat pose. Exhale, cow pose. Now, keeping the knees bent just as they are, inhale, come forward to seal pose, this time with the knees bent, the shins are up off the floor. And then exhale, cat pose. The shins will go down. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, reach your hips back to child's pose. And inhale, roll up, slide your hands along the floor. Exhale, open up. This time, inhale, raise your hips up. Exhale, lower the hips down. Inhale, come up. Exhale, reach forward. Inhale to cat. Cow. Inhale, seal pose, keeping the knees bent. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, slide your hands on the floor, roll back. Exhale to open. Inhale, raise your hips. Exhale, lower the hips, and inhale, rise up to sit. Exhale, hands to your lap, Vajrasana. Let's fold this blanket one more time. Place your knees. Step the right foot forward, please. Come into your asana. We did this practice yesterday. So as you're coming forward to asana, it's actually fine, even for some of you recommended that your knee is like over the toes, but your heel stays grounded on the mat. Slide your hips forward. Press into all 8 fingers and both thumbs. Okay, and then exhale, straighten both legs. Inhale, return to asana. Open your throat like you're coming into cow pose. Exhale, glide back like you're going into cat pose. Inhale, roll forward the spine like cow pose in the upper thoracic and cervical spine. And exhale, roll back, looking for some of the cat pose spine for strength as you press down from your hips to your feet. And once more, inhale, roll forward, gliding into asana. Open your heart and your throat. And last time, exhale, glide back. Now let's stay in the cat pose spine here. And without any sense of wobbling left to right, pivot your left thigh, left shin, left heel. So your left foot's going to come down to the mat, a little bit diagonal, but keep the cat pose spine. Reach your left hand across to hold your right wrist. Root down from your right hip towards your left heel, and from your right hip into your right leg and heel. Liberate your left hand and turn into your C-shaped pose. And then make the spine and the left arm not a C shape, but a straighter line. Keeping the right leg steady, bend your right knee. Let's bring the block so that your right hand has support directly under your shoulder. Now, if your stride is quite long, as mine is right here, you're going to take a baby step with the back foot. And then another baby step. There you go. Now with the block and the right hand, place them ahead of you so you are ready to step into Ardha Chandrasana. And sweep your left arm past your left ear in Ardha Chandrasana. And bend your right knee. Lower the left hand. Take the left toes way back. Walk your block back so that you're able to place your hands on the two blocks and step backwards, downward facing dog pose. And then touch your right knee down, step your left foot forward, Anjaneyasana. And let yourself come into the glide of the hips here so you can feel into your right hip flexors. So here's the inhale, a little bit like cow pose. And then exhale, glide back like cat pose. Inhale, roll forward. Check this kind of undulation so your communication is hopefully moving like water through a hose without crinks in it. Use the smoothness of your breath as a kind of biofeedback for you about the quality of your efforts and your sense of connection, interconnection between you and your body and your mind. So if the breath starts to become choppy or disorganized, You could have a little hypothesis. What's happening at the manomayakosha? And how is that influencing pranamayakosha and then annamayakosha? Let's prepare for triangle pose, trikonasana. One of the liabilities of the manomayakosha being dysregulated is not just that it makes the breath bumpy or the body less stable, but it blocks our ability to really feel deeply into our inner wisdom. So it's not just the symptoms that we see going outwards from manomayakosha to pranamayakosha to annamayakosha, it is also what it's blocking or obscuring inwardly. So from your C-shaped position, now start lengthening your spine, more of a straight line. Then bend your left knee. And walk the block back so it's under your shoulder, especially if you've got quite a long stride. And you're going to take a baby step with the right foot. Another baby step with the right foot. Now take the block with your left hand and place it ahead of you and step into Ardha Chandrasana. You can reach the right arm past your right ear. Notice what's happening in the quality of your breath, which is a reflection of the mind, has an influence on the physical body. Make your transition slowly down. And step backwards, downward facing dog pose. And then come forward, touch the knees down. Return again to Vajrasana. So if the manomayakosha is giving us symptoms and information that we feel in the breath and then we feel it in the body, let's also be curious, how is that then going out into our perceptions of society, economy, education, justice? How is it filtering beyond that to our perception and our relationship to the climate? Even more importantly, how is it blocking our internal access to vijnanamakakosha and anandamayakosha? What can we know about that? Please take a seat on a block and take your right leg out to the side. If you are somebody whose knees hyperextend, place a blanket under your right thigh, excuse me. So this is, you're sitting up on a block in Janusirasana. So the left leg is tucked under like this. Place your right forearm here and press down. And then reach up and over. The right forearm is getting squished between your torso and your thigh. Yes. The left hip grounded, please. Inhale, rise up. Let's change sides. We are coming towards your Shavasana. I will not forget. So Right leg into Janusirasana, left leg out straight. If your knees hyperextend when you sit up on something like that, please put a blanket under. So the blanket goes just up to the base of the thigh right behind your knee. Take the left forearm, press down. So you're asking for the femur to descend right there. Side bend. Keep the right hip grounded. You are squishing your left forearm between your hip and your thigh. Root the right hip down. And please rise up to your seat. Take the left leg. Okay, please come down to your Shavasana. I can see the time. Thank you for staying with me. Let's put, for those who need, those of us who are outside, where Portland is now chilly, just lie on your back. That's a very important consideration for us in yoga. When we see that the brain or the mind or the body get a little bit dysregulated, and we might first see that in the instability of the breath or the urge to be forceful with the breath. We might then see it in the physical asana. The mechanisms are happening deeper than that. By the time we're seeing it, it's already something coming from the manomayakosha, which is then distorting how we see those larger concentric circles and also obscuring our access to our deepest wisdom. So let's rest in this Shavasana with a little prayer. May the manomayakosha be clear. May we understand our minds. May we be less easily distorted. Allow your body and your mind to really deeply relax, to have whatever resolution is possible right now. Allow that resolution to continue going inward. You have deeper access to vijnanamaya, anandamaya. Encourage your mind not to go to distraction. Keep watching the resolution. Placing your attention in your Shavasana, place your attention down at the first chakra. May the fears that can be resolved, may they resolve for you. Lam, 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 lam. Bring your awareness to your second chakra. May the griefs that can be resolved, may the sorrows that can be metabolized, may that happen. Lam, 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 lam. Bring your awareness to the third chakra. May the irritations, the frustrations, the propensities that become anger or resentment, may those be resolved. Ram, 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 ram. Bring your attention to your fourth chakra. May the susceptibilities to envy or ill will or aloofness, pity, may these be resolved in the heart. Yum, 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 yum. And feeling into the whole of your body. Just make a thoughtful transition from Shavasana back to sitting. So when the first to the fourth chakra, when they are more balanced, our ability to speak from the fifth chakra is going to also be more balanced. When you come up to your seat, just check and see now, from where would you be listening? From where would you be speaking? Place your mind at the base chakra, one long sound. Lam. Second. Lam. Third. Ram. Fourth. Yum. Fifth. Um, um, please bring your hands together at your heart. And placing your personal intention in your heart. And then in the centers of your palms, raise that intention up to your vision. Bring that back down into your heart, and then we're going to place it in our community. and sharing it with everyone. Remember, not just those of us who are in class, but your neighbors on all sides, and your neighbors' neighbors, and beyond that. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for being here. Namaste.